You know, Brian, if we raise 60 bushel beans here again, that's going to take a lot of fertility out of our ground. It's going to cost us a lot of money putting fertilizer back out here this fall, isn't it?
One of the things that we're always looking at on our farm is what kind of yields we're raising. We want to raise big yields. The downside to that is it removes a lot of fertilizer, and if you don't know how much fertilizer it's removing, you need to look it up, because that's where we start our fertility program for the following year. Is what did we remove with this crop? So 60 bushel beans, for example, that takes 84 units of actual K2O potassium out of the soil. 84 units just with the grain only. You need 150 pounds of potash if you're going to use potash just to replace what you removed, okay? And not a lot of people are putting out 150 pounds of potash after just one crop of 60 bushel soybeans. That's my point.
Well, that's fine with me, Brian, because there's a lot of chlorine in that potassium
well,
chloride.
Whatever.
So yeah, you may choose a different source than potash. But the big thing is we're going to spend a lot of money on fertilizer next year on ground where we're raising crop this year. There's no question about it. And fertilizer is the biggest variable cost that we have each year. When we go into the season, we look at seed,
we look at fixed cost,
we look at chemicals.
It's number one. Yeah, it's just such an enormous cost, but the other way to look at it is it's an investment, and if you're not investing those dollars in fertilizer, you're not going to raise a fantastic crop. We have literally on our farm gone up in yield by almost 50% in the last 5 years. It's just a huge jump, and a lot of that can be attributed to fertility. Sure, we have better varieties, but we're doing a much better job of fertility now. So we wanted to talk today just a little bit about how you can not only increase your yield, but also make sure you're keeping your expenses down. And I just wanted to start this thing off by saying, when you look back at the 5-year history on fertilizer prices, it's really low, way high, way down low again, and now it's coming right back up again. Why the big change? Well, it all has to do with grain prices and with oil prices. So in other words, if grain and oil go up come spring of 2012, fertilizer prices will be even higher. If grain and oil go down come spring of 2012, then fertilizer prices are going to be much less expensive.
So as farmers, we can't control where that price is going to go. We have to control what we can control on our farm. So the first thing is finding out exactly what we need for nutrients. We do that through good soil analysis, but also plant tissue testing. We do that right now during the summer to let our plants tell us what they're long or short in.
Yep, and then besides that, we're going to go out there and place our fertilizer better. So we're doing more banding, we're doing more strip tilling. When you are banding that fertilizer, either in a strip till or with a planter or however you're going to do it, you've placed the fertilizer better, so now your efficiency in fertility is better, so you can get by with less.
We're also using more efficient forms of fertilizer like Pro Germinator or Sure K liquid fertilizer, for example, that help avoid tie-up in your soil, or products like Avail to try and keep that phosphorus available for our crop.
Or nitrogen stabilizers like Nutrisphere N, for example. I mean, use some of these different products. At least if you don't believe in them, at least be trying them. That's why we're using more on our farm, because we tried them. They seem to work. We're doing more of that as time goes on. This is a bigger deal, because when you think about how many dollars you're investing in fertilizer, if you can invest fewer dollars and get the same kind of response, that's what we're all after, isn't it? But you're not going to do that unless you know what to put on there, you use the right products, and you place them right.
And the other thing is buying your fertilizer at the right time. Now, normally, historically over the years, July and August have been the best time to buy fertilizer, but who knows if this year that's going to be the case. The important thing here is if you're going to lock in some crop and you're going to sell it at the price of July and August that you can get for next year, great. Well, then lock in your fertilizer at the same time, and you know what your cost of production will be.
Well, once again, it's very important if you want to raise good crops in your farm that you're doing a good job overall with fertility. So look at all these different things, and hopefully you'll have an even more successful 2012.
Well, you'll certainly be a success if you can control this week's weed. We'll show you how coming up next.